in this video, you're gonna learn step by step a countertop masterclass that will save or make you thousands. It'll also save 10x your time. Stay tuned. Everything is included right here, right now. You got this. Remember, all your pressure is going to the back elbow of the roller, so that as you roll away from the tip of your roller, you're automatically removing lap lines. That's the key, is we're gonna add enough water to let it thin out. We're gonna back roll, and I like to do it 2 or 3 times with brand new rollers. That way we remove those lap lines. It's a very tight finish. You're not gonna believe how simple this hack is. It's a construction piece of gold. It's a gold nugget. We're gonna teach you all the steps right now. Guys, I've been working with epoxy the better part of my adult life. I've had a lot of experience playing with additives and trying different things. That's the benefit of this channel. You get to learn from our victories as well as our failures. And the failures is what gets you to where you are today. So I'm super grateful for the experience that I have, but that's come to this moment. This is the coolest project I think I've ever worked on. And I almost forgot, stay tuned, enjoy the video. Have you ever noticed that walls aren't square in new construction? That's a fact. A template is how you overcome not being square. I'm gonna use acetone. That's gonna weld to our template material almost instantaneously. That'll transfer these measurements from this cabinet to our top to a T. I'm just getting rough measurements. And all you gotta do is score this and snap it. It's really easy to work with. So that'll go on my back wall. This will be my side supports. Grab one more piece from my front wall, score it, snap it. What I like to do is tape my pieces down temporarily. So I just tape it down temporarily to that cabinet. And then I'm just right there on the front of that face frame, see? And then I'll do the same thing to the back. There's that piece. You got one here. And this is how you get your countertops to fit as if they grew in the space. So the key is you want this dry and dust free wherever you acetone it together. I'm just gonna take a little bit of acetone right there. Come back. Hold it tight for about 10 seconds. A little bit right here. It does not take a lot of acetone. That acetone melts the plastic together and does it really fast. Center right there. And then I'm gonna mark X's where the front edge is. That's wall. That's how you template any space to perfection. This will follow those walls. It doesn't matter if it's square. I love our template material. If you're a craftsman, if you're cutting out tile, if you're cutting out unique shapes, if you're doing alcoves, entryways, if you're doing cabinets, countertops, and more, template material is an absolute must. Guys, check it out on our website at Stone Coat Countertops.
All right, Mike did a really good job on this template. I have to add my standard overhang, which is 1.5 inches to the front only, because we're pinned in between walls. Give me a level if it's not out here already. Yep, add 1.5 inches. You got it?
Got it.
When creating countertops on site from wood, we like to use a circular saw and a jigsaw to make real fast work out of this step.
Okay, I'm gonna go dry fit that before I cut the next one.
All right, let's see if it fits. Nice.
When you're working with small vanities that aren't pinned between two walls, you can save time by measuring and making your countertops without using template material. Draw up the cabinets from a bird's eye view, make note of all those measurements, We're going to transfer those measurements to a sheet of MDF, and we're ready to make some countertops.
So the vanity would look a little bit puny with only 3/4. Granite is 1 1/8 to 1 1/4, so we're gonna double these up, making it 1 1/2, give it a nice rock face edge on that front edge, tile backsplash on the back and sides. This vanity is gonna be sweet.
Back at the shop, we're picking up right where we left off and adding a rock-faced chiseled edge. This is our favorite style of edge. Here, Mike is using a utility knife to cut the edge at different angles and lengths to easily mimic a chiseled rock-faced edge. Use a jigsaw to round any corners as desired, and don't do a repeated motion with your utility knife. This can cause your rock face edge to look really man-made.
How do you like the new trick with the knife on the rock face, man?
I was worried about dusting out your entire house on site. I'm scratching my head the whole time we're doing this going, Catherine's not gonna like the dust cleanup. So that was a huge unlock. You just take a really sharp utility knife, it cut like butter, really.
And we did that here too, just because it works so good on site.
Yeah.
No more dusting out the shop.
No.
Next step in the rock-faced edge, mix up some all-purpose Bondo. Start with smaller batches if you're not comfortable working with Bondo. Don't worry, it's a lot like working with Play-Doh on a 7-minute timer. Fill any screw or nail holes. We use our gloved hands and a Bondo spreader to apply it to the edges. As the Bondo begins to set up, rub those edges and tap with your fingertips to mimic a chiseled edge. Don't worry about any sharp points. We will be back to smooth the edge when the Bondo dries. Time to apply 2 coats of Stone Coat's Epoxy undercoat. We've designed our undercoat to dry extremely fast and be ready for epoxy with no need to wait 24 hours. You can pour mixed epoxy over our undercoat in as little as 2 hours. We have 2 color options available, white and black. The undercoat can also be tinted to create your very own custom color.
We have a massive pour today. I'm gonna start with the smallest pieces. Why? I wanna perfect my recipe. I wanna get this dialed so that when I get to that large island, when I get to that kitchen that's over 150 square feet, I wanna have it just systematic and ready to rock and roll, where I don't think about my recipe. So I get to really take my time and have some fun with the smaller vanity pieces. That's a pro tip. If you're doing a single kitchen, start with the smallest piece. Maybe the piece just right of that cooktop. That's just a 2 by 1 foot piece. Get that dialed in. If you're working for a customer, snap a photo of that if you're doing it off-site. Send them the photo prior to doing everything else. Get that approved. Tell them, hey, do you love it? If so, approve it in this text, and then you'll never show up on site with a surprise that may cause a frown. Let's turn that frown upside down. Let's get this recipe rocking and rolling. Let's get started. Remember, you got this. Here we go. All right, we have prepped. Let me show you what I mean by prep. I got all of my colors ready. I'll go over that recipe in a bit, but this is Mike's favorite recipe. I got my help. I got my brother right here, Matt. I got my brother, Mitch. You guys know Mitch. We're going to do this together because this is a passion project. This is where our family is going to come for years to come to do family reunions and events, and we're going to rent this place out. It's going to be for conferences and family reunions. This is going to be a place to come, relax, enjoy the great outdoors, and really connect with Mother Nature. We're trying to keep this looking like natural stone. We want this place to feel a certain feeling. So my brother's going to help me do that. All of these pieces here are prepped. You saw us template. You saw us cut this on site. We brought the small pieces here because we wanted to make a mess here and not in the new house. So we've got plastic down. All these tables are leveled. We got our sander ready. So we're going to start with that small piece. I'm going to show you my favorite recipe right now. If you guys want a natural stone recipe, I highly recommend this. Now this right here, this fire orange, oh yeah, fire orange. Ooh, that will freak most people out. But I love it because it looks like rust deposit, and I use very little. When we mix this up, I'm gonna have my brothers help me mix, but the key is to go easy on the black, okay?
Easy on the black.
Black will take over your projects. It'll really make it dark and hide everything else if you use too much. So, pro tip, Matt's not gonna touch the black.
I black out everything.
So here's what we're gonna use. Of course, we're gonna use white metallic. I'm going with pewter metallic. And then one of my very favorite additives. This is a Stone Coat OG. It is the diamond dust. This thing blings out everything. It gives you that metallic look without the look of glitter. It's man glitter. It's not feminine. It looks like stone. It's the diamond dust. All right, and then we're going fire orange. We're gonna go brass, antique brass metallic. We're gonna go silver metallic. And of course, any of you who have been watching our YouTube channel for years, the black and the white. This is classic. The moment that you add black and white, it adds contrast to our rainbow. Okay, and then finally, dyes. I'm gonna use white dye and black dye. Now this isn't a huge palette, okay? I got 5 spray paints, I got 3 metallics and 2 dyes. But the key is 3 different additives. These additives, the propellant in the spray paint will fight the dye, will also fight the metallic. The metallic will rise, it'll separate. I'm gonna hit some isopropyl alcohol. I'm gonna do some spray fracturing. I'm gonna run some veins. I'm gonna play with these because I get to look at these for a very long time, right?
Yes.
When we come gather in this space, my hope is that Mitch and Matt and I remember this day. We remember creating these. We remember, we talk about it. We have some fun. We're going to put our love into this today, man.
Heck yeah, I'm excited.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Cool colors.
One more thing, folks. Let us know in the comments below who's got the best beard.
Already know the winner of that, bro.
I wonder why he said that.
He's ready to lose.
This is our classic Stone Coat Countertop Epoxy. It's designed for the do-it-yourselfer, and it's been time tested for the contractor. Thousands upon thousands of kitchens have been coated with Stone Coat Epoxy. In fact, we've had to stop the world from trying to coat everything. This isn't designed for your motorcycle or your car. This is for your countertops, tabletops, desktops, and more. We're going to start with part B. We're going to continue with part A. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, mixed for 2 minutes using a drill, and then we'll start the additive fun. Here we go. Did you sand it and wipe the dust? Okay, right here I like to do this to let it drip down. Here we go. Guys, we're using a lot more than this little piece is going to use. Don't think we're mixing up all this epoxy for one tiny vanity. This is for multiple vanities, and I'm excited to see, you know, number one, the uniqueness of each piece, because we are going to do an exotic pour, but we're gonna hybrid that. We're gonna do some fracturing, we're gonna do some added veins. I'm gonna let the exotic pour do its thing, and then we're gonna come back and wherever those veins naturally are, we're going to accentuate that with some high contrast white and black, maybe some fire orange. Heck, I might even add some different additives in some spots just to make each and every piece a little bit unique.
Now that the epoxy is mixed, it's time to tint. Stone Coat's metallic powders and epoxy dyes are very concentrated, and a little bit goes a long way. We use a popsicle stick to mix, ensure the metallic powders are fully incorporated and no clumps are left behind.
A little bit of silver.
Does it change your working time when you're using spray?
Look at this. Look at a little orange and white together. That looks like an onyx color already.
That is cool. Ooh.
Maybe I'll add one to like a white just to give me a gray tone.
Pewter just comes out really slick.
Look at that, bro.
That's black.
That's how concentrated those dyes are. That's why you don't add much black. Now I'm gonna leave a little bronze on my stick. Let's go for that. You really just want to add a bunch of different colors together is what we're trying to do. And I'm leaving that kind of under mix, see that? Shake those spray paints up and we'll add some spray paint here.
Building the exotic pour bucket is one of my favorite steps. Randomly pour back into the larger mixing bucket your tinted epoxy. Take time to apply accent colors of spray paint between some layers. Have fun with this step and don't overthink it. There's no wrong way to build the exotic pour bucket. Just don't take a stick and give it a mix.
There's some clear. There's some more white dye. Some of our marbled color. A little bit more silver. A little bit more brass.
Randomly pour out your bucket. You can do this any way you wish, front to back, side to side, ring pour. The most important rule here is to have fun with it. The epoxy will continue to self-level and meld, leaving behind a very realistic stone countertop. When using this epoxy technique, we mix up 4 to 5 ounces of epoxy per square foot of countertops. You can mix up as many batches to coat all your countertops as necessary. Stone Coat Epoxy was designed and formulated for the DIYer. There's no nasty smell. You have tons of time to work with the epoxy, over 45 minutes. There's no need to be in a rush. Your countertops will continue to meld and self-level. It's gonna be epic.
Okay, ring pour time. I think I'm gonna mix up some white. Move that tapey. So Matt used all the excess. Did you spray paint in here too?
I did, yes.
Nice. So he made a mini cup. This is what I call my touch-up cup. So I'm gonna you know what I'm gonna do with this is I'm just gonna do a vein, Matt. So see this right here?
I'm nervous right now.
Okay, watch. Boom.
Ooh.
That's neat, right?
Yeah.
See how it followed the natural pour of that thing?
Look at that.
All right, let's go find some more of that to do. We could actually like come right here. See how it wants to go that way? We're gonna come here. We'll come here next to this one just to give it some contrast. Now we're just gonna go mix up some cups like this. I'll mix up some more. You're gonna mix up little dirty pour cups like this with mostly white. No pewter, because I've over pewtered some of these, right? So we're gonna go contrast with mostly white and orange. And I like things like this, undermixed as opposed to overmixed, except for the powders. The dyes, I like them undermixed. I'm liking this cup better, dude. This is literally no pewter, right?
It's only got the silver metallic. Here's some pewter if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put it in. We're doing a lot of epoxy today. Guys, are you enjoying this video? Do you enjoy this technique? It's easy, it's stress-free. Let me know in the comments below. That's pretty sick. I like having the multiple buckets, man, of like total difference here.
A contrasting exotic pour bucket will add eye-catching veins and realism to any project. Many natural stone countertops have large sections of contrasting colors. Mike did a wonderful job mixing up this bucket. These vanities just went from good to great.
Okay, I gotta go add some more blue. That was sick. I don't wanna add too much blue, so you just leave it on the top and then you could add that vein. And it's really fun doing them like this because honestly, the more layers, the better. Like you said, I like this flow. I don't wanna mess with that, but I'm gonna add another vein. That is so sick. Look at it. Look at where it's laid out here. This is your cup of many colors, Matt.
Wow.
This coat, you don't want to over torch it because you'll get it to move more than you want. Really doesn't matter if you get all the air bubbles out of this one. You learn by going outside the box, right? That black just made my day. Take this stick and I'm just going to trace some of these. And that just brings some color around each color so that it doesn't look like a solid color, because that's not what Mother Nature has, is solid. Okay, ready for this?
Ready.
Just using black spray paint and 91% isopropyl alcohol.
It's clear.
Yeah, just clear. I'm gonna pour this vein right down here to make this one come to life. Actually, I'll put white down at first, and then I'll go right over that white.
Cool.
Pretty, Mike. Look at that.
That looks pretty wild, dude. You got some blue spray paint handy?
We just watched an epoxy master level up these tops with many different simple epoxy techniques. Stone coat epoxy is very customizable. Keep it nice and subtle or full send to exotic stone. Mike's final step here is to drizzle some fracture lines. We're going to let this epoxy cure 2 to 3 hours before removing the tape. When you allow the epoxy to set up for a couple hours after mixing, the color techniques will sit right where you left them and stay very detailed. Another benefit, your edges will turn out fantastic. The epoxy will be thicker, leaving behind high definition edge detail. Peel the tape from the top down to help encourage the thicker epoxy to flow over the edges uniform. Use your gloved finger to make any dry areas wet. We're gonna let these tops cure overnight, come back and get rid of those drips. Quickly remove cured epoxy drips from the underside of the countertops with our 50 grit metal fiber sanding disc and backer on your grinder. You can also use a random orbital sander.
Time for the ultimate top coat. We've shook up part A. Again, it's a 2-to-1 ratio. We're going to do the 4-roller technique. We've graduated from 2 rollers to 4 rollers. The drier the better on that final roll, and light pressure on that elbow for the lap lines. Guys, practice makes perfect, and perfect practice makes even perfecter. So guys, try this on a sample board. Go get a table. Do it on something that is good practice for you. Watch this video 1, 2, 3, or 4 times and hit the like button that many times. But if you do, then it goes from, if you've hit like, it goes to unlike, back to like, unlike. It shows momentum on the video. That's all we care about. Guys, we've been adding more water. I'd say about 10% by volume. You don't want to go much more than 10% by volume, but what I've noticed is getting this a little bit more liquidy allows it to roll out and be a tighter coat. Less microscopic bumps, but those bumps, remember, are also why we're durable. It allows things on a microscopic level to slide across the surface as opposed to gouge into the surface. It's like having ball bearings on the surface of your countertop made out of urethane and special ingredients that are tough stuff, aka proprietary ingredients, aka things I can't even pronounce.
Yeah.
Did you about that much?
Yep.
Okay.
Y'all saturate.
Time to go, baby. I'm gonna actually start on the biggest one. The biggest one would be the hardest one to hide the lap lines in, so that's why we're starting there. You could use that for the, okay, first dry roller. And then you really only need one guy dry rolling. We're gonna need another dry roller though, if someone wants to get it prepped. Yeah. You're gonna see a little bit of a milky finish, and that's just because it's a water-based product. That's okay. It will go away. Finish going with the grain flow of your countertop so that if any lap lines do happen to show, it gets camouflaged with the grain. All the pressure's on this outside elbow here. Because I'm erasing, I'm going up at a slight angle so you don't see any line. And that's an old painting trick that if you apply here, you're gonna get good results. This is like putting armor on this thing, man.
Let the top coat dry for 24 hours before transporting to the job site. You can begin light use in your kitchen with your brand new epoxy countertops in as little as the next day. Folks, we're heading back to the job site. We're going to install the sinks, backsplash, and more. Stay tuned.
So as long as you get a center point that's perpendicular and you put that on your front edge, your back hole will stay square to your front edge and you can make a quick sink template. So that's gonna go here. So see the center line? No, you could leave that there. Now this is a pounded copper irregular shape. So I'm going off the center right here, kind of as my visual. And then I'm gonna trace the outside, and then I know that I got about a 1.5 inch lip, so I'll come in probably 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so if I go here, there's my rim, and then we're gonna say 3/4 would be plenty, wouldn't it? I'll use my tape, and I'll just start making registration marks. A hardcore game of connect the dots at Denny's. I was really good at that. All right. So we're learning how to install top mount sinks and under mount sinks right now. And then this is gonna be our cutout.
There it is.
Yeah, this.
11, let's see, 11 3/8 there, 11 3/8 exactly, and we put that right center of that, and that's where the sink will go. That's grabbing one. You got a sinky?
Yeah, I sure do.
Really a clean cutout, man.
Yeah.
We'll have to.
I think only one had that. And if you're gonna.
Look how nice that
It's
looks.
gonna look beautiful though.
Guys, are you getting value out of this video? Are you learning how to do sinks like a pro? Subscribe, ring the bell to get notified every time we have new tutorial videos, because that's what we do. We teach you to create your own works of do-it-yourself functional art. Whether it be kitchens and bathrooms, fireplaces, mantles, tables, floors, and more, you're gonna learn it in this channel. There we go. Let's cut this one out. Got a little wobbly on that one, but that's the joy of a...
Ooh, that's cool.
You ready? So this is all I do here. Just add some blobs. Stay away from too much blobs, and then it won't ooze out funny. That's all you need right there. All right. One down, 5 to go. You can see I'm not putting blobs on the front because that'll ooze out the front, but I am putting blobs where they have room to ooze out. And 100% silicone, Mitch and I have done a lot of demos on other substrates and it grabs really well. So it's easier.
This was a really cool step. We created our very own backsplash for this project by molding stacked granite tiles. We then reproduced them with rapid set concrete with polymer added. Click the link in the description below for a more in-depth tutorial on mold making. We use some of our stone spray, spray paint, and marble spray to color these tiles. The next step, we applied Stone Coat's Ultimate Top Coat to protect the backsplash. This backsplash will be ready for install the next day. Whenever you are gluing in a top or undermount sink, use 100% silicone. We like to tape off the area, leaving a nice clean line of silicone when you remove the excess with your fingertip. Acetone cleans up the silicone really well if you happen to have any spills. Let the silicone dry at least 24 hours before using these sinks.
Staying there longer than 15 minutes though.
I'm doing it. Oh, you want to try it with me?
Oh my goodness.
There's plenty of room.
There is. Oh, it's hot, dude.
It's only started warming up.
Fat guy in a little sauna.
You got this. Oh, it's hot. Oh. If you stay in here and work outside, it would feel like Arctic.
It would. This is pretty neat.
Look at the light. It's got speakers.
It's got Bluetooth.
Excellent magazine cover here.
MP3, bro. Auxiliary.
Yeah.
This is high end.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
A little wider.
I'm not sure if the advertisement of a two-person sauna is accurate. However, our shoulders are holding each other up.
I think it would be two people in the country of origin.
Yes, I think.
Bro, I'm right by the
countries east of here.
Do you have a heater right next to you over there?
Holy.
It's blocked.
Oh, I'm out of here.
I don't think I wore deodorant today. That'll be good.